Good day, everyone, and thank you to the UN Women's Centre of Excellence, the Ministry of National Defence, and the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family for inviting me to speak today. I want to start by sharing a story from my time in the UN mission as a peacekeeper deployed to South Sudan. It's a difficult story to tell, but it's one that must be heard if we are truly to understand the human cost of conflict and the critical importance of the Women, Peace and Security agenda. Her name was Mary. First, they killed her husband. Then the soldiers killed her two sons, aged 5 and 7. When the uniformed men yanked her daughter from her arms next, Mary didn't think it could get any worse. 5 of them held her down, and she was forced to watch as the 3 others raped her 10-year-old daughter, Nylat. Mary said, "I couldn't even see my little girl anymore. I could only see blood." Nylat died a few hours later, and Mary said, "I wanted to die too." This is a story of unbelievable and unbearable loss and unimaginable violence, but it's also a story that illustrates why we need the Women, Peace and Security agenda. Mary and Nylat were not combatants or participating in hostilities. They were civilians entitled to protection, targeted because of their gender. Gender equality is not a social justice issue, it's a peace and security issue. Put another way, gender inequality is a threat to peace and security. When we ignore the voices of women in conflict, when we fail to protect them, when we accept discrimination and gender inequalities, we are exposing half the population to situations of sexual and gender-based violence, situations of vulnerability, to oppression and discrimination on the basis of their gender, and we are failing to build sustainable peace. The Women, Peace and Security Agenda, or WPS, was formalised in 2000 with the UN Security Council's landmark resolution 1325. And so next year will be the 25th anniversary of that resolution. This resolution acknowledges the disproportionate impacts of conflict on women and girls, stories like Mary's and Nylat's, and calls for their full, equal and meaningful participation in peace-building efforts. It's about recognising that women are not just victim survivors of conflict, they are powerful agents for peace. When we empower women, when we strengthen communities, we lay the foundation for a more peaceful future. In 2020, at the annual debate on women, peace and security at the UN Security Council, my boss, the Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, said, "Gender equality is first and foremost a question of power. Wherever we look, power structures are dominated by men." In 2023, he expanded on this perspective in his new Agenda for Peace, emphasising the influence of patriarchal structures. He called on the UN system and member states to collectively address and dismantle these structures and prevent conflict and promote peace. He also emphasised the need to include the perspectives of women affected by discrimination, marginalisation and violence that contributed to gender inequality. The Secretary-General's message underscores that gender inequality is a systemic issue and that cannot be resolved merely by increasing the number of women or adding them to existing structures. Challenging these gendered power structures is crucial for modern peace operations and for modern militaries. In my 25 years of military service, I've seen firsthand the difference that gender-responsive peacekeeping makes. During my deployment to the UN mission in South Sudan, we worked to involve women from local community in security discussions. These women offered insights none of the men, local or foreign, could provide, shaping our strategy in ways that improve both our relationships and mission effectiveness. This is the essence of the Women, Peace and Security agenda. It's not just about protecting women, it's about their full, equal and meaningful participation and ensuring they are active participants in establishing and sustaining peace and security. Doing so makes our operations more effective and our missions more successful. Operationalising Women, Peace and Security also means providing peacekeepers, both men and women, with the tools and training they need to understand the differential and disproportionate impacts and security concerns of women and girls and men and boys in conflict. This ensures that peace operations are responsive to the needs of the entire population. As a man, I want to emphasise gender equality is not a women's issue. It's a mission for all of us. Men have a crucial role in championing gender equality and ensuring that women, peace and security is integrated into our organisations and our operations. We must recognise the power of gender-inclusive approaches and gender-responsive leadership. We must recognise that diverse teams perform better and that the empowerment of women is key to mission success. As men, we cannot remain silent. We have a responsibility to actively support pushing forward this agenda. Silence is complicity. Gender equality doesn't just benefit women, it benefits everyone. When women have access to resources, education and decision-making, societies are more stable, economies are stronger, and peace is more enduring. The world is a more peaceful, prosperous and just world when women are empowered and gender equality is realised. Stories like Mary's are painful reminders of the cost of inaction, but they also remind us of why we must continue to fight for gender equality in every space, from boardrooms to battlefields. Gender-balanced forces are more effective in building trust with local communities, especially in cultures with specific gender norms. Women peacekeepers can gain access to parts of the population that men cannot, and allowing for a more holistic and effective peace-building effects. So what can we do? First, we can push for the full, equal and meaningful participation of women at every level of peace and security processes. It's not enough to simply acknowledge the need, we need to take concrete actions. Second, men need to step up. This isn't about giving up power, it's about creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Finally, each of us, whether in uniform or not, can be an advocate for this mission. To truly operationalise women, peace and security, we must commit to integrating gender perspectives at every level, from the strategic level to the operational level to the tactical level. This requires training, accountability and the willingness to challenge entrenched norms that have previously sidelined women. Gender equality is not just a women's issue, it's a mission for all of us, and it's a mission we cannot afford to fail. Thank you.